Welcome to episode 3 of the Seen and Heard podcast from the Journal Scene. I am publisher and editor Brandon Roberts. Here with this week's episode is reporter Eon Bailey.
Hello, it's Eon here to break down the week's news for you. We're just going to go page by page here and get through it all. So the first headline we have here is Mysterious Median Cemetery Revealed at Shopping Center. Now, I have a little bit of a problem with the word revealed because if you're from Somerville, then this was no revelation. That cemetery has been there for years and years and years. And what happened was folks on Facebook decided that it was overgrown and the people buried there were deserving of some better respect through cleaning it all up. And so people got out there with weed whackers and they placed flowers on the graves and they're just getting it nice and tidy to pay respect to those who are buried there. But it is a small graveyard in the median of a busy road out by like where the Walmart is, by Azalea Shopping Center. And so if you didn't know that was there, now you do. The next story we have here, Dunn joins Journal Scene. So we have a new staffer on board, Michael Dunn. He's a multimedia account executive, and if you want to learn more about that, you can go to your newspaper and check that out. We also have a story about the town arborist. One thing I've heard as I've covered town council meetings, county council meetings, are these rumblings that our tree canopy is shrinking. I've heard this from different people who are attending these meetings, who want to talk to me about stories. So I wanted to find out, is that true? I went to the town arborist, I asked him all my questions. He says yes. The town tree canopy is shrinking. However, it is shrinking at an anticipated rate, at a rate that matches other comparable cities like Sumter, like Savannah, Georgia. Our town arborist, Justin Carpenter, is trying to manage the development that we're seeing in a responsible way by seeing how trees can be preserved, where they can be replanted. And so I would definitely recommend reading that full story if you are interested in trees. But yes, that canopy did shrink by about 11% between 2015 and 2019. Canopy data is collected every 7 to 8 years, so we don't have the current data, but the arborist, Mr. Carpenter, anticipates that it would have gotten smaller. Now, the story that is front and center on your front page is a solemn one. Brett Gardner of the College of Charleston and a New York Yankees outfielder, his son passed away. His son was a Panther at Pinewood Prep. We ran this story before it came to light that he passed away due to carbon monoxide poisoning on a family vacation. His name was Miller Gardner, and to quote from the article, the Citadel had a moment of silence on March 25th to honor Miller's passing before the first pitch of the Bulldogs game against College of Charleston at Joseph P. Riley Jr. Park. So unfortunately, that is a very sad story, and you can send love and light to that family and prayer if you believe in the power of prayer. But that is a true loss. That is a true loss. On page A4 of the newspaper, you will see An Adventurer's Guide to Somerville. This was something that I wrote to kind of introduce maybe people who are new to the area to fun things to do, or even people who have lived here a while who haven't explored as much as they could. There are a lot of interesting and fun things to do in the area that are worthwhile, such as visiting Byler Forest, taking classes at Public Works Art Center, going downtown to see some improv at Theater 99. Those are just a few examples of things that were included in that article, but I made An Adventurer's Guide to Somerville, and that's on page A4. Back to the news. We have a Clay Hill Elementary teacher arrested for simple assault. And this is a staff report, and I'm quoting directly from the article. A teacher at Clay Hill Elementary School in Ridgeville was arrested Wednesday, March 26th, following an investigation into allegations of simple assault involving a student, according to the Dorchester County Sheriff's Office. Now, there weren't many more details beyond that, as authorities had not released them at the time of publication. And speaking of law enforcement, there was a multi-agency warrant sweep that led to 13 arrests. The agencies involved were the Somerville Police Department, the Dorchester County Sheriff's Office, and the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office, as well as Somerville, Dorchester Metro units. I'm going to read from the article again here. During the operation, officers served 10 warrants and apprehended multiple individuals wanted for various offenses. Among the most notable arrests was that of Johnny Johnson, who was wanted for possession of more than 2 grams of fentanyl, failure to stop for blue lights, and driving under suspension in Dorchester County. We report a lot on crime because we believe it's relevant to our readers. People like to know about it. It's important to people sometimes. This is kind of an instance of reporting on a law enforcement success where it's not just about crime, it's about the curtailing of crime through these initiatives. And we have some positivity here on page A6. Thrive Hub connects people in crisis to networks. So there's a platform by SC Thrive, which is a nonprofit that connects people in crisis to support. SC Thrive offers something called Thrive Hub. So if you've ever been in a crisis or you know someone who's been in a crisis, for example, someone struggling with dementia who can no longer maintain their life, they can't stay organized and they don't know how to ask for help. That is where Thrive Hub would come in. Thrive Hub allows you to apply for benefits. It allows for case managers to have your information in one place so that they can assist you. It connects to different organizations in a support network. Thrive Hub is basically a starting point for people in crisis who don't know what to do. So that is by the nonprofit SC Thrive, again, and if you want to read that article for more details, it is on page A6. On page A8, we have some fun stuff going on. Sculpture in the South volunteers clean the artworks in Azalea Park. So there are some great pictures in there of people working together to really keep those sculptures nice and clean and shiny. I love Azalea Park. I love all the parks here in Somerville. You should go check them out. Let me know if you see a difference in those sculptures after those people put that hard work in. Spokeworks owner named Small Business Person of the Year. Michael Haldeman to be honored at the ceremony in Nation's capital. This is a story by editor Brandon Roberts, and I'm going to quote him here to give you the rundown. The U.S. Small Business Administration has named Michael Haldeman, owner of Spokeworks Bicycle Workshop in Somerville, as South Carolina's Small Business Person of the Year. Haldeman will be recognized at the National Small Business Week Award ceremony on May 5th in Washington, D.C. I think it's great to see Somervillians shine at the state level. You know, this could have gone to any small business owner in the entire state, and it was Mr. Haldeman who received it here in Somerville. A huge congratulations to him. We have a robust opinion page talking about leadership and the Flowertown Festival. I always recommend you read the opinion page. The topics are always diverse, and I really enjoy the opinion page, so you can check that out for some fun opinions. Officials are considering development off of Bacon's Bridge Road. However, residents voiced concerns about traffic and flooding. This is an ongoing story because the development by Treat and Woodman LLC has not yet been approved, but their petition seeks to annex property at Bacon's Bridge Road and Crestwood Drive and change the zoning so that they can bring 30 attached single-family townhome units to the location. That's reading from the article. There would be townhome units coming to Bacon's Bridge Road if this is approved. However, it has not yet been approved. A motion to approve the annexation and rezoning failed. Officials cited concerns, including the potential water runoff problem. The Planning and Development Committee will meet Monday, April 7th. So that will be before this podcast comes out, actually. So there will be some more updates that we'll cover in the next episode. And the next town council meeting will be at 6 p.m. Thursday, April 10th. We will be at all of those meetings tracking how this plays out. Is there going to be more development? Are there going to be more townhomes off Bacon's Bridge Road? We will see. You can apply to serve on Dorchester County boards and commissions. That's it, really. You can do it. Page A11 has details about positions that are currently open, and that includes the Board of Assessment Appeals, the Board of Construction Appeals, Board of Disabilities and Special Needs, Charleston Dorchester Mental Health Board of Directors, Foster Care Review Board, Seniors Inc. Board of Directors, Berkeley Charleston Dorchester Council of Governments even. So there's a lot of opportunities there, and if you think that you really can bring something to the table that will improve the community, please apply to serve. We have a great sports section in the paper. I'm not qualified to comment on it, but Roger Lee does a great job writing these stories, taking pictures. It's beautiful every single week. He works very hard and does a great job, and it's got all the best stories coming out of our schools. We mentioned on the last podcast that sports in the area are really improving as we get more people in the area and there's so much growth. We are finding that we have a tremendous amount of very talented student athletes. And so there are some really tremendous stories coming out of our sports section. I highly recommend you read that if you are interested in sports or in schools. We had a profile on a community member named Amanda Metzger, and talking to this person was such a treat because she does so much for the community. She is chair of the Somerville Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee. She's on the board for the Somerville Parks Foundation. She is a participant and advocate for Flowertown Players. She's a public health advocate with the YMCA, and she's a mom. She does it all. She's awesome, and I'm really excited that we get to feature great people on this in this paper and on the podcast. If you know of someone in the community who is moving and shaking things up and who is a person to know, we would love to feature them. So please feel free to submit tips, journalscene.com. The last story for you today is going to be a bit of a bombastic one. A legal immigrant arrested for obtaining goods under false pretense. Dorchester County man accused of defrauding homeowners. This was someone posing as a contractor who did not follow through on the jobs people paid him for. He was found out by the Dorchester County Sheriff's Office and is charged with obtaining goods under false pretenses and forgery. Here's a quote from Sheriff Sam Richardson. The Dorchester County Sheriff's Office appreciates the collaboration with the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division's Immigration Enforcement Unit and ICE for their work on this case. So ICE was involved there. And apparently it was an anonymous tip from the Brazilian community in the area that led to the investigation. So we talked about crime, and why we talk about crime is because it's important to people. And I think that, any story about fraud like that really matters to people because nobody likes to feel like they've been tricked. Unfortunately, we had a situation where somebody was tricking residents out of their money. Thank you for listening to me talk about the news. I love the news, and I am grateful that we have people to tune in who care about the news as well. We are a community. This paper is for you, and if you have any input for us, any tips, any leads, any questions even, please go to journalscene.com to contact us. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for listening to Seen and Heard, the podcast from the Journal Scene. All of our podcast episodes are available on journalscene.com.